Fodsports BT S3 promises full duplex rider-to-rider chat, hi-fi audio, and day-long battery at a bargain price. Either we've reached the budget intercom sweet spot or it's another headset that bails when you actually need it. On paper, you get Bluetooth 5.0 up to 801,000 meters of range, DSP noise reduction that tames wind at 120 km/h, IP65 water resistance, and 8-10 hours of talk time. Sounds criminally generous for the money, but here's the thing, specs rarely survive real-world wind, rain, and traffic. I mounted it, rode with it, and pushed it. After 2 weeks of commuting, a weekend group ride, and a rainy night shakedown, here's what caught my attention. I've put the direct link to check current pricing in the description, but before you click anything, let me show you what I discovered after 2 weeks of testing. Here's what the BT S3 claims to do. It's pitched as a universal budget motorcycle intercom for commuters and casual tours. Up to 3 riders paired, with 2 talking simultaneously. 801,000 m range line of sight. 8-10 hours of intercom or phone music, fast 2-3 hour recharge. DSP noise cancellation, clear calls up to highway speeds, IP65 waterproof. Sounds perfect for the price, right? A true do-everything without the premium badge, but here's where things get interesting. Reality check time. They claim 801,000 m range. What you actually get is 250-400 m of stable intercom in mixed terrain unless if cars or buildings cut line of sight. Here's why. Classic Bluetooth intercoms are limited by 2.4 GHz physics and helmet shell attenuation. At speed, your head and bike block part of the signal. I tested on a straight suburban road and an open highway. Clean line of sight stayed solid near 350 m. Once a truck slotted between us, dropouts started around 200 m in twisty backroads. It was closer to 150-250 m before artifacts crept in. Here's where it gets mathematically impossible. 1000 m is a best-case, empty field, perfect alignment number, not real traffic. They claim crystal-clear calls at 120 km/h with DSP noise reduction. Reality, callers can hear you up to about 60-70 mph if your mic placement is dialed in and you've got a decent windshield. On a naked bike at 70+, wind roar wins. With careful mic placement and the included foam, my voice was intelligible but thin at 65 mph and started to distort at 75. That's physics again. The boom mic is doing work, but without beamforming or advanced ANC like higher-end sets, it hits a ceiling. They claim 8-10 hours battery. What you actually get is about 8 hours of continuous intercom with music mixed in, and closer to 8-10 if you're doing calls and GPS only. Evidence: I ran a full-day loop with intercom always on, mixed with Spotify at 70% volume, and red light blinked at hour 7. Commute tests with 2 45-minute rides, calls, and nav easily lasted 3 days. Also, it's micro USB, not USB-C, and takes about 2.5 hours from empty. They imply easy 3-rider chat. Reality, you can pair 3, but it's 2 talking at a time, and daisy chaining increases dropouts. When rider A talks to B and B relays to C, any obstruction or speed shift can pop someone off. Universal pairing to other brands technically works, but you'll often sacrifice music sharing or get occasional echo. Let's be real, if you want seamless 3+ riders, you need mesh on a pricier system. Waterproofing is IP65 on paper. In a steady rain for 40 minutes, it held up fine. After a heavy soak with the port cover not fully seated, one button got squishy for a minute, then dried out. Moral: seat that rubber flap and you're good. Sound quality marketing says hi-fi. Reality: the 40mm speakers are okay for podcasts and calls, decent for music under 60 mph, and thin on bass. At full tilt, they can get slightly harsh. To be fair, positioning matters a ton. Moving the pads to align dead center with my ear canal improved clarity notably. Here's where things get interesting. For a sub-$60 single pack or sub-$110 dual pack, the BT S3 actually punches above weight, but only if you know its limits. If you expect Sena or Cardo mesh reliability at triple the price, it's tech roulette. Detailed breakdown, sound quality, vocals come through clean, cymbals get splashy, bass is modest. With earplugs and a decent windscreen, I could listen to podcasts at 70 mph. On a naked bike above 65, I had to max volume and still wished for more. Here's what nobody tells you. Cut a small pocket in your cheek pads or add spacers to bring the speaker closer. That alone made a bigger difference than any EQ tweak. Compared to Cardo Spirit HD, the BT S3 is less punchy and less loud, but usable. Battery life: my averaged results matched 6-8 hours of Intercom heavy writing and about 9 hours when mostly music and GPS. Standby drain was minimal. It survived a full week idle and still powered on. The micro USB is dated in 2026, but at this price, not shocking. It did warm slightly during charge but stayed stable. Build and controls: the clamp and adhesive mount are straightforward. The adhesive held through heat and rain. The clamp works better for thicker rims. Buttons are raised enough for winter gloves, but there's no big jog dial, so skipping tracks requires a deliberate press combo. Voice prompts are loud and not adjustable separately from master volume. The unit is light, plastic, and doesn't feel premium, but it survived a couple of accidental drops. Intercom and connectivity: pairing phone plus intercom was reliable. Auto reconnect worked most of the time after a gas stop. Universal pairing to a friend's Freed Con worked but killed music sharing. Latency when starting intercom was half a second. Not a deal breaker. In dense urban areas, interference caused the occasional hiccup. The plot twist: once we kept the distance under 300 m and line of sight, it stayed surprisingly solid. User notes: scanning buyer reviews across multiple sites, common wins are easy install and solid value, while common complaints involve volume at highway speeds and range exaggeration. A few units report early battery fade after a season. Mine held steady over 2 weeks, so long-term longevity is a question mark. Verdict: buy with caution. If your use case is commuting, occasional weekend rides with one buddy, and you're okay with 250-400 m realistic range plus good enough audio, the Fodsports BT S3 is worth it at the usual sub $60 single or sub $110 dual price. Pros: low cost, simple install, acceptable battery life, decent calls up to moderate speeds, rain ready. Cons: exaggerated range, limited volume for naked bikes at highway speeds, 2-at-a-time intercom, micro USB, and middling music. Skip this if you do long tour with 3 or more riders or demand premium audio. Save your money for Cardo FreeCom or Sena Mesh if group comms are your priority. Worth it if you want basic comms without draining your wallet. Stay savage out there. Thanks for riding along. If this review saved you from wasting money or helped you find something actually worth buying, I've put the link to check current pricing and read more reviews in the description. And hey, if you do decide to buy through my link, it helps fund these investigations without costing you extra. What should I test next? Cardo Spirit HD versus FreeCom or budget versus mesh showdown? Drop your pick in the comments, hit like if this helped, and subscribe for more newbie gear breakdowns. Ride smart, spend smarter.